Everybody, it's Dr. Jason from Advanced Integrated Health. One more time, we've been talking about toxins in the last two videos, and this is the third video on toxins where we talk about the #1 toxin, sugar. Great book by Gary Taub, The Case Against Sugar. He looks at the sugar consumption over the last 300 years. Check this out. In the 1700s, the average person had about 4 pounds of sugar per year. In the 1800s, that went up 500% to about 18 pounds per year. And in the 1900s, it went up again 500% to about 90 pounds per person per year. In the 2000s, guys, the average person is doing about a half a pound a day. That's 180 pounds a year. Sugar is loaded in your soft drinks, in your fruit juices, in your health drinks, your sports drinks, right? And all your processed food, and your bologna, and your pretzels, and your cheese spread. Infant formula now has the equivalent of 1 can of Coca-Cola. So children are being poisoned from day one. If you have a bowl of sugar, by the way, it has a certain weight to it if you take a teaspoon of sugar. That weight is 4 grams. And a can of Coke, a 12-ounce can, has 39 grams, right? That's about 10 teaspoons of sugar. No wonder there's an obesity epidemic, right? 32% are overweight in this country. Another third are obese. 100 years ago, the obesity was 3%. Now it's 30 to 60. 100 years ago, there might be 3 cases of diabetes per 100,000. Today, diabetes strikes 10,000 out of 100,000. So from 3 to 10,000. Another great book, Sweet Deception, Dr. McCullough. Sugar's the #1 contributor to obesity. That's what he says. Cut out the sugar and you'll cut out the fat. Last book here, Dr. Appleton, Nancy Appleton, right? The entire book is medical journal and scientific study, right, about how bad sugar is. #1, sugar really decreases the immune response. #2, it really screws up minerals in your body, chromium and copper and magnesium and things like that. It can cause hyperactivity, anxiety, things like that. It can produce a significant role Hey everybody, it's Dr. Jason from Advanced Integrated Health. We've been talking about toxins in the last 2 videos. This is the 3rd video on toxins, and we talk about the #1 toxin, your #1 enemy. I'm talking about sugar. A couple of great books here. The first one, The Case Against Sugar by Gary Taub. He looks at the sugar consumption, guys, over the last few hundred years. It's quite amazing. In the 1700s, the average person had about 4 pounds of sugar per year. In the 1800s, that skyrocketed 500% to about 18 pounds per person per year. In the 1900s, it skyrocketed again, another 500% to 90 pounds. And then in the 2000s, 50% of Americans in the 2000s consume about a half a pound of sugar per day. Sorry, that's 180 pounds of sugar. It's everywhere, guys. It's in your fruit juices. You know, the healthy ones? It's in your sports drinks. It's hidden in almost all processed food. All your deli and your pretzels. Ketchup is 50% sugar, right? Now most infant formulas have the sugar equivalent of a can of Coke. So infants are being poisoned from day one. Think about this. A bowl of sugar, if you take a teaspoon, most people will know that has a certain weight. Well, that's 4 grams. Most people don't know that. 4 grams. A can of Coke, guys, 12 ounces, 39 grams. That's 10 teaspoons. 10 teaspoons. So no wonder there's an obesity epidemic in this country. Today, 32% are overweight. Another third are actually obese. If you compare that to about 100 years ago where the obesity rate was 3, so it went from 3 to 30 to 60%. 100 years ago, there were fewer than a handful of diabetics per 100,000. Today, diabetes strikes 10,000. So from a handful to 10,000. Another great book, Sweet Deception, Dr. McCullough. Go to mercola.com. He says, he's very straightforward. Sugar is the #1 cause of obesity. Cut off the sugar and you'll cut off the fat. It's that simple. Last book, Nancy Appleton, doctor, PhD. Man, this is an amazing book. 300 pages of all scientific studies. So let me go through some of the havoc that sugar wreaks in your body. Number one, sugar can suppress your immune system. It impairs your ability to fight infectious disease. It damages the ratio, right, of things like chromium and copper, minerals, also things like magnesium and calcium. It causes a rapid rise in adrenaline, so hyperactivity, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, especially in children. It causes a significant rise in the total cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, and also triglycerides. Number 5 reason, sugar feeds cancer cells. It's been connected with the development of certain types of cancer, like breast cancer and prostate cancer. Sugar weakens eyesight. It can cause many problems of the GI tract, increased risk of things like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. It is absolutely the number one, the single most important factor in accelerating aging, because it has to do with insulin, right? And insulin is the number one ager, right? Number 10, varicose veins, right? It can also contribute to osteoporosis, right? Unhealthy bones. It contributes to eczema, especially also in children. It makes worse cataracts in the eyes and nearsightedness. Sugar is much higher in people with Parkinson's disease, right? Number 15, it increases the amount of fat in your liver. That's called fatty liver. It increases kidney size and, right, the ability to produce more kidney stones. It's definitely the number one enemy, sugar, of good, healthy bowel movements. It can cause headaches. We see that all the time here, including severe ones like migraines. It can increase your risk of Alzheimer's. So they did some MRI studies in people over 60. She talks about it in the book. They're 5 times more likely to get what's called vascular dementia. It's the second most common form after Alzheimer's, right? They're calling Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. Number 20, sugar causes hormonal problems like increased estrogen in men. It's a very addictive substance. Rats prefer sugar over cocaine. It can trigger epileptic kinds of seizures. And in juvenile rehab centers, antisocial behavior went down 44% when they took the kids off sugar. And finally, number 25, sugar causes tooth problems and gum problems. Now, why did I mention that last one last? Because honestly, I interact with patients who think the only thing wrong with sugar is the last one. It causes some cavities and gum disease. And, oh, but that's no problem because we take care of their teeth. No, it's much deeper than that, guys. Okay? So, hey, tomorrow we're going to leave this topic of toxins and go on to our next mini-series of 3 videos on the number one cause of all chronic degenerative disease. We've been talking now about food sensitivities, nutritional deficiencies, and toxins, and all 3 of those cause what I'm about to go over in the next 3 videos, which is inflammation. So stay tuned for that. Hope you've learned something today. Stay tuned for those videos. Please comment about this video. Please like it, share it with your friends. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can reach us directly at 973-376-8383. Set up an in-office consultation. There's no charge for that. If you'd like to know more about that, you could just comment yes in the section below, and we will reach out to you. Appreciate you guys listening. Stay tuned for those videos, and bye-bye for now.